experts like Mr. Robert Kiyosaki, talking about God's money, gold and silver constantly, especially right now with a sense of urgency. Why the sense of urgency right now? Well, for us, I'd say it's pretty obvious, but for most people, it's still not. They still haven't discovered why this is so urgent, and that gets to be part of our great mission. It's not only Robert Kiyosaki that is sharing this mission, and his, of course, picture on the back of our brochure, his great quote, talking about God's money. He's met our owners and founders at convention. We're talking about a gentleman here that knows what's going on. Another gentleman that has been stunning over the last 7 years. He's called an analyst of time. He's making absolutely spine-tingling, electrifying projections, not just about the future, about right now, what he sees happening based on numbers. These are biblical timelines that he's projected over 7 years that are so accurate they could not possibly be coincidence. So it's mathematically impossible. What is Bo saying about gold and silver and the fact that God's whole kingdom, this revolution that we're seeing right before our eyes, which we certainly know this world needs a revolution, doesn't it, Brother Bob? Back to God and his kingdom. Bo says gold and silver will rise with God's kingdom because it is God's money. It's the foundation of the kingdom economy. Besides Christ himself, he created a money practical on earth to run the kingdom. And he's joining these other gentlemen. It's not just Bo. There's many other visionary believers who are experts in biblical time cycles that have great credibility and track records. One of them is Dr. Manuel Johnson. He's seeing very similar of what Bo is seeing. And they're talking about the great wealth transfer. When? Right now. Dr. Manuel calls it Christmas in November. The kingdom is coming. And that's going to happen through gold, silver, and of course, there is a place for cryptocurrencies. As we know, it's an ROI, but it's still fiat. It's not God's money. So that is part of what some people see as a benefit right now. But we know that there's no substitute for the gold and silver, right, Bob? So we're talking about an amazing era in time right now. This happens to be this Thanksgiving, which is November the 25th, the 400th year anniversary of when the first colonists hit Jamestown. They got on their knees and they consecrated this entire continent to the kingdom of God and to his ways of doing things. And we saw a nation being born that did that. And we still have that remnant of millions of people in this country that still believe in doing things God's way. So 400 years of slavery that happened to Egypt, in Egypt by the Israelites, has been repeated to a great degree in the United States and around the world as a debt slavery system was created using fiat currency that's now reached epic proportions of insane debt and all kinds of huge challenges for people everywhere. But we know that we're in this world. We're not of this world. We're living beyond the realm of darkness, and we get to participate in the kingdom economy. And the reason that we're seeing these things is because God has sent us messengers that are saying, do not miss the greatest financial event in human history, sitting on the fence. And what Bo calls sitting on the fence is a person that has no gold or silver. They have not prepared with extra food, water, supplies to help people in the transition. They're sitting on the fence. And we know what God said about being lukewarm, right? So I'm really grateful for you, ambassadors. You guys are not lukewarm. You're on fire, and you're sharing the good news everywhere. And God sent us messengers to say the world is being reborn right before our eyes. There's a new era in time upon us, and it's going to begin right now, we believe, in this month of November. This is actually 360 days now since this cycle started back last November. And Bo likes to say that Christ is building his church, and upon his church, the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Well, we've certainly have seen, haven't we, over the last year, Brother Bob and ambassadors, we've seen these gates of hell being manifested right before our eyes. And we're all saying, oh, I'm not participating in this program. We're going to do things God's way here. And how's God going to bring this to pass? Well, this is a projection from the scriptures and also prophecy that's been put out that God's going to use a stone, and that stone is going to basically break this Babylonian kingdom apart. And many believe that stone is gold himself. Of course, the rock is Christ himself. But this prophecy talks about a stone being a gold stone that will break this Babylonian empire apart, because it is the love of money that is the root of all evil. God and his people saying, we don't want this evil in the world. We're not going to live this way. We're not going to tolerate this. So what would God do? He'd say, okay, you participate with me in my plan. Let's tear the root of the evil out, which is this debt, fiat, slavery, financial warfare money system. It's not even based on money, just numbers in a computer. So we're seeing some epic things happening. And I know that you're operating, I believe, with a sense of urgency, especially during this month of November, to say, well, what if Bo's correct? What if these other visionary prophets and Christians are correct? What if Robert Kiyosaki's correct? What's the worst that can happen? Well, I get some extra gold and silver, some extra supplies if nothing does happen. But if something does happen, that's going to be epic in our favor. We're going to be saying, man, aren't we glad we prepared for this wealth transfer? And the reason we're getting to see these things is because God sent us messengers. And if we're seeing farther than others, it's because we get to stand on the shoulders of giants. And we're going to hear from one of those giants this morning once again. Our senior business partner, #1 earner in 7K, the man who started all this back in the first year, the first few days and weeks of 7K, who has the largest organization, the biggest, fastest growing organization in all of 7K. And we're so blessed to be mentored by him and to partner with him. We're talking about #1 earner, wrote the comp plan with Richard Wayne Hansen, Mr. Bob Reid. Brother Bob, can you hear us?
I'm sorry, I said thank you. Quite an introduction. But you know, I really won't be the #1 money earner very much longer, and that's a great thing, because I'm 75, and I didn't start this to be #1 money earner. That just happened. It's a blessing, and what I started to do is, and what I went to work for back in Houston with a regional event, and I shared with Roger and the co-founders that I'm mad at them. They brought me out of retirement. They made me go back to work, because this is such a fabulous opportunity that I can't not help promote this and start building a family legacy of my own, since they have put 7K in our hands. And that's what I've been doing ever since then, is to reach out and find those that have that vision, same vision that I do, and that want to pass on a legacy to their children's children. And that's what we're doing. The company is about to celebrate its 5th year anniversary. I will celebrate my 5th year anniversary with 7K coming up here in the middle of November. I signed in on, according to their date, November 15th, but my date, it was November 16th, but they're on Mountain Time and I'm on Central Standard Time. And then the next day, I had a meeting on Friday night on my birthday, November 17th, at George Donaldson's house in Baton Rouge. And y'all know the rest of the story from there. I put 2 of them in out of the 15 there. And on the way home, I back to Prairieville, Louisiana. I called people, and by the time I got home, several of them had signed in. I placed them, and Saturday was the next day. Finished that up, and made $1,000 by helping a person on my left and a person on my right make a $500 check with a 7K plan. You know, you help them make a $500 check. You have one on your left and one on your right, make a $500 check. They got to have 500 volume on each side. They have had to have sponsored one on their left and one on their right, personally, with a membership of 7K. And what we are doing is we're a member direct marketing company. We're selling memberships in one of the greatest companies in the world. And no one's going to know about it unless someone tells them about it. It's not advertised on TV. So it's the Costco or the Amazon or the Sam's Club of precious metals for the average person, and where they get to learn about gold and silver. How much better can it be? It can't be any better, except it is better because it's a home-based business. You get to use your 1099 tax benefits, and it pays for your business. So if you're a W-2 employee, this is a pure no-brainer, as Courtney Epps says. You know, a renowned CPA. And that's part of what I wanted, the message I want to deliver today, is that I've over this last maybe 2 weeks, 10 days, I've provided that. It's up to my group. You have her short video and her longer video with the interview, which she details how everyone needs to have a plan B. Everyone that is a wage earner that is working pays 4,000 to 8,000 more in taxes than they should. So what better home-based business, what better plan B to be involved in than 7K metals? So a person isn't spending more money out of their pocket, but instead of paying taxes, what taxes they would have paid to a tyrannical Marxist government, they now are using those tax dollars and getting them a $4.99 business membership or a business family pack, and getting themselves on an AutoSaver with what they would have paid in taxes. So it's a choice. Do you want to accumulate wealth, or do you want to give a tyrannical government more than what they deserve to rule over you? That's the choice. It's real simple. And I've given you the tools. Plus, I've given a training system. Now, I call it how to activate the inactives in your business. Okay. But I'm showing you how to use 3 tools to do this. And my training today is a couple of points. If you're not doing this, get at it. Everyone that's inactive in your group. So you look down your left and your right, you're going to see it, and you click on that downline report and you click on inactives. They're all yellow. The ones that are yellow. The ones that are green are active. The ones that are yellow, those are the inactive. That's the one you're going to do. And so you want to make sure they get that video by Courtney, the short one. And then you want to ask them the question. And I give you what you should be saying in my transmittal of this training material to you on our Hawaii app, our private team app. And it's right there. And I want you to use that. And so it's okay if multiple people are in your group are calling on the same people. They're hearing the same message from different people. That is fine. Okay. But the key is getting them to watch that video and following up enough until they really have watched that video by Courtney, because she doesn't say a thing about 7K. She doesn't say a thing about gold and silver. What she says things about is how you turn your personal expenses into business. Same thing I've been saying for decades. And in fact, that's how I built my first big, huge organization of over 70,000 people. Earn gold and silver with the highest price gold and silver, highest price gold and silver in the marketplace, and with a binary that flushed every week. every time you made a check, it flushed. Okay. You start it all over again next week. And y'all know how powerful this system is. Rollovers, carryovers, bank side. I mean, I've got people in my organization that have $1 million on their bank side. $1 million. Soon I'm going to have people with 2 million. And you've heard Richard Wayne's stories all the time. But at the same time, I want to teach you how to optimize your check. Our Hawaii group, and many new people coming in, haven't even been in a year. So sometimes when I talk renewals, you're not even thinking about this because you haven't even been in a year yet. But you really need to think about that. And this morning in my 10 o'clock training, which is about 5 a.m. Hawaii time, I mainly talked about renewals and how to get your renewals. They're not really an auto renewal. You have to click on it. The company processes it as an auto renewal on the first day after the month it was due. So everybody that's due, let's say during the month of November 1st, 5th, 16th, 18th, 21st, 27th, 28th, all those dates. If the person hasn't gone into their profile in their back office, clicked on edit in their membership and click renew now on their renewal date, it isn't automatically renewed until December 1st. The company processes them all at one time. Now that's a problem for you associates, for you coppers, for you bronzes, because see, that's also the biggest volume month for your auto shipper. And we're going to talk about auto shipper today. But that's the biggest volume month for that, a volume day. So if you're just an associate, all you can earn is $500 a week, right? Well, if you got all your future renewals coming in on the 1st, and that comes at the time that most of your auto shippers come in, because the 1st and the 15th are a default date by the company, and then you may have 1,800 in volume coming up on your pay side. Well, all you're going to get is $500 check. But if you'd had those renewals staggered out during the month, you could have earned a $500 check every week. So pay attention to the trainings, even if you don't think they're applicable to you. They are applicable. You got to get into habits. You got to get into habits that are duplicatable and that you don't have to come and teach them when you need them. So that's what we're talking about. Systems, duplication, and understanding our business and how our comp plan works. How our comp plan works from A to Z, not just how the points work, how the cycle work. You got to know all aspects of our comp plan and how the company administers the comp plan. There's the key. So that's why we call this advanced training, because you're not beginners yet. And now we're going to bring the beginners up to speed with advanced. So with that said, I'm going to ask you to start referring to what I do in renewals, because soon this will start happening with you month by month come February of this next year. And you want to be prepared. You want everybody doing it and not have to train them to do it then. Okay. So incorporate that in your daily trainings, weekly trainings. And we're going to talk about AutoSavers today and how to optimize your check with the AutoSaver. The company, when you enroll a new member, they have a default date of the 1st or the 15th, whichever is furthest away from the sign-up date of the new applicant. Okay, so if they sign up somewhere between the 1st and the 15th, their date should be set on the 1st. If they sign up between the 15th and the 1st, their date should be the 15th. That's set by default by the company. Well, that's a big period. That's 2-week periods, basically. But what we want to do is we don't want our auto shipper on the 1st, and we don't want our auto shipper on the 15th. We want to have the majority of people in our group on the 8th, the 21st, and the 26th. 8th, 21st, and 26th. And you're going to have a chance to change that without changing your activity. And that's when you take advantage of changing your date to either the 8th, the 21st, or the 26th. And that's where you want your auto shipper on. It will not affect which coin you get. The system that they have, they're shipping 4 coins, basically of each one. And so they ship those 4 until they're out, and they have a program that you get the least number of duplicates as possible. So when you're changing your auto ship, it has nothing to do with messing up your set collection. Okay, so because of the program that they have operating. So in that respect, let me say the ways that when you have an opportunity to change your auto ship without changing your activity, meaning that you do not become inactive. You don't want to just go in there if it's been set for the 1st and here it comes, here we're at the 15th, and then you go in and you set it for the 8th. Well, you become inactive on the 1st of the following month, because that's where you were active every month. So you become inactive. That 8 days later, you get your auto ship. You'll turn yellow. When you're yellow and you're inactive, you collect no points. So if you got 10,000 in volume coming up, it's not going to add to your counter when you're inactive. It flows right through you like electricity, goes to the next person up that's active, and it collects in their counter. So remember, you don't collect points when you're inactive. Also, the other thing about being inactive, when you go inactive, you lose your loyalty points. That's where the points you get free silver. Now, never forget about your loyalty points. And you got a bank account for your loyalty points. And that's where you can earn a free silver product once a month. Okay, how do we change it? Every time you enroll someone, let's say I am set for the 1st. I enroll someone today. I become active for 32 more days. It'll change in my profile when I enroll someone, because I created 15 or more points of activity by enrolling a new person. I personally sponsored a person. So every time you enroll someone, you create activity, your counter of activity resets to 0. And then you start counting 32 days. And that's in your profile. Okay, I'm going to show you these things where you find them. Okay, now, every time you order a coin that has points on it, like in the AutoSaver, well, or let's say you ordered an extra AutoSaver, or you ordered a coin in a coin drop, it's got points on it. That makes you active. Yeah, I know some of them may not be 15 points, but those are special collector coins in a coin drop. You become active. you just check me out when you order one. And we just had one Thursday. Everybody that ordered that 2-ounce, I think it's Ben Franklin coin. If I ordered one, so I hope that it changed your activity date. Okay, and so your activity date became 0 immediately when you place that order, and it starts counting 32 more days of activity. And so that's a chance to change your AutoSaver date to either the 8th, the 21st, or the 26th. You'll eventually want to get to the 8th, 21st, or 26th. And then you just want to leave it there. Okay. And now if you're managing it, then you can have a chance to, every time you enroll someone, then to roll that into a longer period before you order your coin, if that's what you want to do. But we're really team members that are saying, hey, we want to collect these coins. We understand we don't want to make the $1.2 million mistake. And we got a better opportunity with these unique, exclusive AutoSavers that 7K have. And that's been verified through the state animal series. And it's going to be verified through the gold animal series. You know, just give it time. You'll see. Everybody's seen. That's also been verified even with the MS-70 Eagle State Series, because you just try and buy Idaho coin. Go ahead, try and buy one. That was the first state. Try and buy a Montana. They're not going to give them to you for what they paid them for. That's for sure. I haven't found anybody to sell them even double what they paid for them yet. And so, see, those are examples of, yeah, we want them, but as a team, we need to help one another. You want to help the associates. You want to help the coppers. You want to help the bronzes. You don't want to have all that volume on their pay side flushing in as their business matures and they grow. So get in the habit of duplicating the right things for you and your team. That's very important if you want to optimize your check. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And, you know, and you know, while I'm sharing my screen, I'm going to do this real quick, right up front, and remind me to do it at the end if I hadn't done it. This is our income disclosure statement. Since I'm giving income illustrations, I talk about income a little bit in my training. I want to make sure that everyone's aware that 7K doesn't guarantee any income, and our comp plan doesn't guarantee any income to anyone. But this is the averages, and 7K is more than pleased to present their income disclosure statement. I'm more than pleased to put it out because, you know, I like to compare it to other people, other companies' income disclosure statement, because it's so big. I mean, look, 92% ranking are all associates, and look, that's one on the left, one on the right. I mean, whoa, how powerful can that get? And then, you know, 6%. But this was what when they first did their first, they're updating this. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be really, really, really powerful. Well, anyway, let's get to where I'm sharing what I want. I did want to share that since I am talking income. And let's get to, how do you find this in your profile? So what you do is, first I want to tell you why you're doing this. See, I've been in the business now coming up, it'll be 5 years. Okay. And when I first started, my left side, once that first night happened, with that first meeting, the only time I ever sponsored anybody over there again for almost 3 years was when I needed to rank up. I needed another personal over there. And I mainly put buyers over there who were just buying a coin and buying an AutoSaver. And that's who I put on that side. They weren't in it. So it didn't require a lot of my time. I was building my right side, which was my pay side, and my wife's business was on the right side, her company, and we were building those two businesses together. And that's where she was making a check and I was making a check. Every time she make a check, my business would make me a check and her business would make me another check. So that's called leverage. That's pretty cool. Okay. That's why I like the business family pack. Okay. And everybody ends up with it anyway. That's not subject today. So, but as time goes by, because the company has a default date, it used to have a default date of just the first. Now we finally got them to do the 1st and the 15th, because the first became an inordinate administrative headache of so many orders in one day at one time to get out and process. So fortunately, we got the 1st and the 15th now as the default dates. And so, but now, you know, when my left side was my bank side, and then later my bank side switched to my right side, and then my pay side became my left side. But that's a side Hawaii came in just not too recently ago. Now Hawaii's on this side, everybody. Okay. But then I had another new group come in just recently, and they are hitting it out of the park, even greater than Hawaii is doing in a shorter period of time. And so if you'll look, these are just AutoSavers. So my left side is about to become, that it just became my bank side again, meaning that's my bank side. My pay side is going to go back to my right side. Now, many people have seen this before. Whenever I had my pay side was over here, I still, even though I had 4 and 5 or 3,000, that's just AutoSavers. I got 5 years of renewals going on. I got new business going on. So you add that to your AutoSavers, and that's why even on my pay side with Hawaii, I still had, you know, flushing volume every week. And now I've been flushing 20 and 30,000 or more every week. But now it's going to flip-flop again. Okay, so now my right side is going to become my pay side. This is going to obviously become my bank side. But here's the point, and I want to tell you on AutoSaver. Every one of you are going to end up like this, no matter where you're at. You're going to end up in time like this. You're going to end up with a concentrated amount of AutoSavers on the 1st and on the 15th. You want them smooth. You want them kind of averaged out. Now, I was doing real good here until this new group came in and they lopsided it on me. Okay. Well, because why? They got so many coming in, they're on the 1st and the 15th, and they haven't got this training yet. They just started getting it from me. Okay. And so now Hawaii's been in for a while. You've got to optimize this. It's up to you. See, it doesn't affect me. My check is not going to be affected at all by what I'm telling you. But yours will. I'm doing this for you. And that's why you better get it going quick and don't wait too late for this. Get this duplication going, because you're in a one another business of helping each other out. And so you all want to shoot to have your AutoSaver on the 8th or the 21st or the 26th, because it takes new people time. They're not concentrating on that. And no, you don't want them to. You just want them to understand they can how to set their AutoSaver, how to change their AutoSaver. and introduce them to the principle. But this is not what you concentrate. You're concentrating on helping them build a foundation for their legacy and for their business. That's what you're concentrating on. The IPAs. You never get away from the IPA. Now, this is an income producing activity, by the way. Why? Because it's going to produce income for you, mature associates, coppers, bronzes. It's going to get you income instead of having it flushed all on the 15th and the 1st, because you're not qualified to earn that. So it's going to go away. Okay. So AutoSaver distribution is very important. And you're in charge of that. You're in charge of your AutoSaver, not the company. You're in charge of your group's AutoSaver and teaching them to how to set it, how to change it, how to get it to the point that you want it and need it. That is your responsibility. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, what we do is we go to our profile. Number one, remember I told you where do you see things like here? Well, in your profile, also it's going to tell you where your membership is and what you're going to renew at. Okay, and it tells you when your next renewal. Notice my renewal is right now during this month. Now I can renew at the first of the month or at the end of the month or anytime during the month. It will not change my anniversary date. It's just when those points are processed. And it's going to extend my renewal 1 year. So if I click on renew now, right now, that button, it would renew it right now today on November the 6th. But when I come back here, oh, I forgot. When I do that, I have to get it so small so I can click I'm done here, because I can't go below my controls. Then I'll open it back up. Okay. And it gets me back to edit. And then mine would read November 15th, 2022, even though this is the 6th and I renewed today. It just changes my anniversary date. If you celebrate your wedding anniversary, your 50th anniversary in the month of October, instead of in November the 15th, your anniversary never changes. You just celebrate it. You just renewed it early. That's all. The date doesn't change. Okay. So that handles that membership renewal. Y'all come up to that. You'll have training, and I'll emphasize when your anniversary date starts, the training you'll need for that, the one I just did earlier at 10 o'clock, and will be recorded and posted. But if you notice, I'm 11 days. No, I did not order my coin drop on this center. I ordered it on a center below me. That way it got points and I got points. Remember? Okay. And so I was last active 11 days ago. So I've got 21 more days of activity left. If I enroll someone today, that will go to 0 days. I'm starting all over again, and it'll go all the way up till my 32 days that I was last active. It won't do 32, by the way. It'll start changing, start counting down my days to inactivity. Okay, that's what it's going to start doing, and I'll get a yellow mark on there. So this is where you see your days of activity. And then of course, everyone knows where your AutoSaver is. And notice I've got mine on the 26th. I mean, I do what I teach. I practice what I teach. And so, and if you want to change your AutoSaver, to a date. Let's say let's say yours reads the 1st, but you wouldn't reset it today. You could reset your 1st to the 26th today if you wanted. That's fine, but you'll get one on the 26th. Okay. But let's say you enroll someone on the 13th or the 9th of this month, anytime after the 8th, during the week of the 8th. Well, you could come in here and click on the 8th, add it, then you got 2. Then you could delete the 1st, and now you enroll someone on the 9th or the 10th or the 11th. You're active for 32 days. You don't have to get the coin on the 1st. You can change it to the 8th and you're still active. You're still active. And now you just switched your AutoSaver and you kept continuous activity. You kept yourself at continuous active. And then you delete the 1st. Now I want to keep mine on the 26th because what? I got 21 more days left. Well, that's about right. I'm gonna get mine on the 26th. I don't want to change mine to the 1st. That's 5 more days. I could have done that. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it right there on the 26th. Okay. So I like to kind of teach what I preach. Do what I preach and do what I teach. And so changing your AutoSaver is something you can do anytime, any place. You just want to make sure you stay continuously active and that you're always, that's why you want to always accumulate points. Now I know you can, do it, let's say a day or 2 that you're inactive and you don't lose points. You're inactive, but that could change somebody's rank and that could affect your sponsor. And so don't do things like that without coordinating with your sponsor. Maybe it doesn't hurt their rank, but you don't want to be inactive for a couple of days and you made this decision on your own without coordinating it. That's why I keep saying one another business. Now, let's get back to our IPAs for my main subject for today, and that is getting and teaching this job description and duplicating it. Because if you don't duplicate my 7 pieces of paper, you're doing yourself and your team a disservice, because this is it. And this is the heart of it right here, that commitment of 5 to 10 hours. And what you're doing in that first 2 years to get your skills, attitudes, and techniques. And if you're not fishing, got that hook in the water, you can never catch fish. And if you don't have bait on it, that's learning how to, with skills, attitudes, and techniques, to properly pique people's interest. You'll never catch a fish. And you'll never be able to teach somebody how to bait the hook and catch a fish. And catching a fish is getting a new member in your 7K business. That's what that's all about. The analogy that I give you. And so if you're, and Hawaii's not in this business for 2 years. So if y'all aren't watching a video a day, shame on you, because that's your main function for your first 2 years. And building your business, earning while you're learning. But you've got to acquire these skills, attitudes, and tech. I mean, if I had to learn them, I'll guarantee you have to learn them. And the only way you're going to learn them is by the methodology that I'm teaching you, repetition of the right material. And I'm telling you what the right material is. Now, if you decide you're going to pick it out, that's up to you. But I can tell you, I know my system has worked. This is 3 times now in 3 separate businesses. So I know my system works. I know a lot of big leaders in network marketing. They made it big one time. They've never been able to duplicate it again. Well, they must not have had a system. Or either their system that they had didn't work the second time. So it worked for that unique place they were in, because maybe they were at the right place, the right time, with the right people, the right group, the right product. Hey, kind of sound familiar. That's where we're all at with 7K. Right place, right time, right people, right market, right everything is for 7K. Now, I just gave you 3 little tools on how to use them, and for multiple purposes. And I want y'all to get to work using these tools, because it's your greatest opportunity right now. And that's the Courtney Epps video. Is a little more than 15 minutes. And this is everybody inactive in your group. You got to make sure you get them. And you just look down your left and right, put that little counter, that Downline Explorer on who's inactive. And it's going to show you all their names on your left side and on your right side. And it doesn't matter if they're getting this video and different people in the team is telling the same person, hey, they got to watch this video, because it behooves all of y'all for them to turn on their AutoSaver to use their tax dollars that they would give this tyrannical government to buy them an AutoSaver coin. That's really what she teaches. Now, she doesn't say coin, she says getting a bit, but we make that translation for them. Wow. So that's what I mean by watching a video 5 days out of 7. That's all I ask you to do. 2 years. I don't care if you watch a video. Sometimes you might have to watch a video 10, 12 times to really understand everything that's in that video. Now, I'm giving you a repertoire of videos to watch. I'm not telling you have to watch the associate training 12 times. You don't. Okay. The other thing I'm seeing that people always want to take shortcuts, and they never really do the thing I tell them that's an essential to do, and that's build their list. Now, I know we've got these things, and it's got a list inherent in it, but your job is to compile and build up in your phone or wherever, but a list of 500 or more names. And you've got to contact those the way that I teach you. And that's where this exposing the business of 5 people a day, 5 days a week. And if you take more than 30 minutes to do that, you're doing it wrong. That's the exposure. That's the peaking interest. Are all of them going to have their interest peaked? Hey, all 5 may just totally ignore you. But you're going to do 5 more tomorrow, and then 5 more the next day. 5 days a week, that's 25 a week. Okay. Some people are going to do more and faster. But all I'm asking for is 5 to 10 hours out of your life a week while you got that job. Now, I have to go back and reemphasize this all the time, because it is a simple system. And all too often people just say, well, it can't be that easy. Why don't you try it for 2 years and just prove me wrong? It always works for the people who work it. Okay. Okay. I had to give you these reminders today, and I really wanted to focus on AutoSaver, because that's going to become more and more critical to you as your business matures, as y'all approach this first year, and you really want to start working to get your team to realign those that have been in, and those as you get new members coming in, you want, when it comes the right time, meaning after they learn a little bit about the comp plan, the cycle plans, how this works, and they've got maybe their initial sphere of influence integrated into business, and now they are wondering, Well, wondering means they better be doing my job description, because that gets that wonderment out, like, what do I do next? That thought should never come into that person's mind. If we're engaged in the system that I teach, and if you're teaching the system that I teach, that's for maximum duplicatability. And we got so many more countries to open, and we want to get as much leaders duplicating the right processes and systems and teachings. And when we do that, we're going to explode as a team together. And I will like to kind of share and conclude this part of the training before I take question and answers with the company's income disclosure once again, and encourage people, you know, if perchance a potential person that's not a member of 7K sees this video, and I talked about one on the left and one on the right and the income that one can make, then you can understand that we are pleased to share the company's income disclosure, and this is the most updated one we have now. And I thank you all for your time and attention today. I'm going to end this recording so you can use it in your trainings and take questions and answers. Have a blessed day, and see you on the beaches, or see a lot of you in Cancun.